Hello! Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and those in between and beyond. Welcome to the College of Inspiration, where we wish to inspire you with our role-playing adventures. Today we are continuing our Arkpoint campaign, our fantasy noir that explores the crimes and politics within the city of Arkpoint. I am Cosmo, he, him, and I am your host and game master for this campaign. The art for this campaign has been provided by two wonderful artists. All the player character sprites and animations were done by our lovely bard at lore, Scarlet Song, and the NPC art was done by our good friend Eldritch Flatcap. And the music you hear on stream was composed by Kevin MacLeod. I'll quickly go over our players. First, we have Scarlet Song.
Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Scarlet Song, and once again, I'll be playing Miss Cotta, both she, her. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scarlet. Following Scarlet, we have JuniperFinch.
Hello everyone, I'm JuniperFinch, and I'll be once again playing the role of Janus Amberwood, both he, him.
Thank you, Juniper. Next, we have Rain.
Hi, I'm Rain. I'll be playing Scoop today, and my pronouns are he, him, and so are my characters.
Thank you, Rain. And finally, we have Alexander Chronist.
And I will be playing the accountant, he, him. As am I, also he, him.
Thank you, Alexander. Alright, so. Last time, in Arkpoint, Miss Cotter, Scoop, and the accountant conducted an interview in the Dwarnborough abattoir. Miss Cotter was able to connect with Carmen, who revealed he was a member of the Swift Silver mercenaries that had been hired to provide some muscle for the protection racket. Admitting that he felt the job wasn't really worth it anymore, he agreed to help the crew on the condition he could talk to his squad first. Pierre, on the other hand, did not survive his talk with the accountant, who organized for his body to be left as a message to those who would cross the Otello family. Meanwhile, across town, Janus had spent some time with his father in his office. While learning about some of the ins and outs of the bureaucracy of Arkpoint, Janus managed to find some information about potential watch officers involved in the racket. He then sent a message to Scoop, organizing for the group to meet up and compare what they've learned. And that's where we start this session. So you all organized to meet for lunch the following day after the events of last session. Let's start in Carnus Heights with Miss Cotter waking up. Still kind of dark outside. Do you find yourself... You're laying on, something kind of hard. You open your eyes, and above you, a figure. You can't quite make out who is. Seems to be looking down at you.
Oh.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I look around. Where am I?
You seem to be in a greenhouse of some kind, like surrounded by a lot of plants and whatnot, but you can clearly see that there's a roof above you. Though through it, the glass panels on it, you can see the night sky above you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just was tending the plants real late. The seedlings arrived a little while ago. I'm sorry.
You have nothing to be sorry for. you don't need to sleep out here, you know. You have a bed in the house.
But this is where I'm useful.
But you're not comfortable. You don't have to be useful all the time. You can just be you. You can be happy. Please. And the figure reaches out a hand and is offering to help you up.
She looks rather scared at that. There's hair all quite short, cut across her eyes, across her ears. Very short, in fact. It's still growing. Still growing out. She reaches for this hand, and the rough scales under her fingertips and claws. Are you sure? It's okay.
Yes, it is very okay. Please. Come, Tara. Come sleep inside. Be warm, be comfortable. That is where I want you to be.
All right, Mr. Otello. And she opens her eyes to a
And
different side.
yes, you open your eyes and find yourself in your bed in the townhouse of the Sanguis family. The sun just starting to peek over the horizon.
Oh dear. She reaches and pats down her bed and its many, many hidden knives. Oh no, I'm running late. That was silly of you, Tara. Miss Cotta. And she gets up and she starts getting to work.
You do all your morning duties and get ready to meet.
All of them.
Yes.
All of them.
Everyone. And a few more that you know, not necessarily your duties, but you didn't trust Nate to.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And just before midday, you head off towards where you plan to meet up in Riverside, where we shall meet the rest of the party. And that's Riverside. Yeah.
As Miss Cotta's walking up, who does she spy first? I'm assuming it's the accountant because he's told us, but like, who does she spy first?
Well, yeah, I trust the accountant would be probably the most punctual of the group, and definitely the most obvious to spot at a distance.
She raises a hand and waves. Mr. Accountant, sorry, alright? Good morning.
So, you see the accountant, perhaps a little differently. He would be sitting. It's not standing waiting out front. He's actually sitting. He looks relaxed. He's like taking up a bit more space, a little bit stretched out. And he's like just actively seems like he looks like he's in a good mood. And kind of looks over, waves, and as you get closer, good morning, Miss Cotta. How are you doing?
I'm doing alright. You seem perky. Did something good happen?
You know, I think it did.
Oh.
Yeah. Things are going well. Listen, actually, just before the others get here,
Oh, yes.
I was wondering if I could ask for your help, actually.
Oh, yes, of course. Whatever you need. What's up?
And he looks like almost bashful. I wanted to invite everybody around for dinner, but I'm not capable of that.
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, I mean, I could probably save a steak a little bit better, but I thought
That's
maybe
true. You wouldn't
would
stack 'em.
would you mind helping do some cooking? Just make the meals a little bit better. Of course, I'll provide
She
everything you
reaches
need.
out a hand and touches your arm with your permission, like hesitates, checks if it's okay.
Not.
Breathe. You're like a child at Christmas or whatever winter equivalent in this fantasy universe is.
We'll establish
You
something
look-
at some point.
Hogswatch.
Bogswatch. Bogswatch. It's that time when they slayed that one particular bog witch. I don't know. Anyway. You look really happy. Did you find your tusks extra shiny today? It certainly looks it.
I have no comment on that.
So you did. Alright. Yes, I'd be happy to help. You just need to give me a no so I can let the mistress know. Well, she seems really keen for me to be out and about with people. I don't know why.
Yeah, can't imagine why that would be.
A bit strange, isn't it? But is it for... Did Scoop or Janus do something that made you real perky?
Oh, I just feel like maybe I found something. And I thought a lot about what you said.
Hmm.
And maybe I could make what I got a bit better.
I think the hand on your shoulder kind of grips a little tighter, like maybe like even like a light pat. Like she's clearly restraining, trying to give you a hug because she's like, no, not supposed to do that. And very much goes, I'm really happy for you. It's good to have friends. I'm glad you could find some. And then she thinks. And she remembers. And she grips. Just remember that people are people. They have faults. They have feelings. Just like you. And sometimes they can hurt you. And sometimes the closer you let someone get, the worse it gets. So, be good if you can. And hopefully they'll be good in return. Because I know plenty of people who were friendly to certain people, didn't end up being good and then ended up in a ditch. So let's hope that no one turns out like that.
I mean, you haven't disappointed so far.
She blushes at that.
He smiles.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, would you look at that? I believe I'll see Janus.
Everyone! You hear from down the street with all of the subtlety of breaking glass.
He does remember who he is, right? He remembers. He was raised in that environment, right?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
You do. There are some turned heads at your raised voice there, Janus. But most people are just like, just ignore it and go back to whatever their business is.
Teenagers. Ugh.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, in
Also,
a random...
Sorry, one thing. You would currently be disguised, wouldn't you not, Miss Cutter?
I would be Miss Cutter, yes.
Yes. Here we go.
You know what? The accountant calls back to Janus.
And
For like the first time ever, this booming voice. Janus!
This Cutter's mouth drops. Just like, what the hell did he do?
That causes more head turns.
And to soften it, Miss Cutter waves both arms and looks as perky as possible in her perky version.
There is this aura of excitement that emanating from
Friendship!
Janus as he gets closer.
Is he messy?
How
He
quickly
looks-
did he get ready?
How quickly?
What did he have to get out of to get to this lunch?
He looks like he's kind of. His hair is slightly messier than usual. And he's.
Oh, for fluff's sake.
And some of the lacing on his tunic hasn't quite been done up
Oh.
thoroughly.
Just come here right now. Grabs. Starts lacing you up. Neating you up. Oh my goodness. I swear to every spirit there is. I've never met a messy a lot. Actually, no, that's a lie. I have distinct memories of meeting, she pauses, a much messier lot. Though they were in the middle of fights, and this isn't one of them. What are you doing? At least check a mirror before you leave the house in your own bloody family colours.
What she means to say is, it's good to see you, Janus.
Ah, you
You're
guys got my
speaking for me
message.
now. I got the message from the accountant who got the message from Mr. Scoop, I believe.
Yes.
Who in turn got it from yourself?
He says, like, grinning and beaming and shaking his head. Or, like, nodding furiously.
It looks like we all found stuff. Now, where's said investigator?
You can see starting up along the side of the waterway is a dragon board looking at it, holding a piece of paper in his hands, holding it to the sun, moving it about a bunch, being like, lunchtime. Oh, I'm late. Oh, there they are. Hello, everyone. You said lunch. I know I said that when I must have made the stone call. I just completely. You know me. Head on backwards. How's it going, everyone?
And you see the vision of glee.
We're all here.
Everyone looks
Lunch.
happy to see you, I think.
I hadn't.
Is he-
I'm pleased to see everyone else is excited for this this investigation as I am. Now, we have much notes to compare. Pulling up my notebook, flipping through the pages.
Miss Cutter is staring at you.
Oh, yes. Let's do this in the hush hush. I know.
She's definitely
we-
got an eye on you.
Would we rather sit inside or outside?
Your wall for me, if possible.
Yes.
Somewhere hideable.
I vote we do inside. All the good. All the good. All the good investigations take place inside a dark and moody restaurant.
Dark and moody, coming up, Mr. Scoop. I'm gonna head on in and find a maitre d'. Get me a dark and spooky room.
My favorite part is that it's probably illuminated by Janus's just sheer glee power. Like he's like the sun.
Could someone please turn
Emitting
down the
light.
child?
So as you head inside this restaurant, I assume you all met back at Dreamers, the
And
last
Dreamers.
place.
Of course.
Yes, the
And Remo.
the Sylvan.
Totally
Cuisine.
lovely.
You were actually directed to the same booth you had last time, because it's nice and
Strategic.
nice and out of the way of both customers and staff.
I sorry. I will tip the server to bring me a very delightful bottle of scotch. Make sure he gets a nice one.
No, he brings you quite a good vintage.
All right. Everyone seems to be in a very good mood. Miss Cotta says with like some confusion. Am I blocked on all sides?
I think so. Yes.
All right. If I'm hidden enough away, I'll take off the hat.
Yep.
So I will, by the side of the table, I will ready my umbrella, just in case.
Well, no, please.
Okay. So Janus reaches into the pocket of his tunic. I got some things. What did you guys get? And he brings out a handful of crumpled bits of paper because they have been hastily stuffed into his pocket. With surprising handwriting on them.
As in neat or as in absolutely unreadable?
Neater than you'd expect from Janus's demeanor. Or at least prettier.
He had calligraphy
Well,
tutorials. Tutors.
He does.
For Scoop's part,
Is
he's
it neater than Scoops?
let's
I-
we don't need to go into that. That is uncalled for. Anyway, for Scoop's part, he, upon being asked if like what we found, Scoop's looking a little fidgety and messing with his hands and flipping through his notebook. We found some we got some interesting answers. But please, by all means, you seem very, if anything, overly eager to share. What have you found, Janus?
I was kind of curious. How did the the thing go with the, you know?
Actually,
It's
remarkably well.
Yeah.
So, please, Miss Carter, I've completely forgotten the Silver Mercenaries.
So, Carmen, lovely, lovely being. Absolutely delightful to talk to. Very forthcoming. Once we got chatting, honestly. Really pleasant.
As at each step of this, you see Janus go through a roller coaster of emotions. Initial drop, and then, oh, huh?
Pierre, on the other
Okay.
hand, who's gonna break it to him?
Yes.
Unfortunately, he succumbed to injury and was unable to continue our discussion.
However, the other gentleman not only has decided to re-question their allegiances, but take them and their fellow brother mercenaries away from this problem, thus alleviating one arm of our foe.
Well, hopefully. Said that they'd talk to him, though I think we really emphasized the point was given what happened during the interview process. By the sounds of things, I didn't see myself because I was busy talking to Carmen, who is absolutely delightful. Anyway, long story short, we know the names of those who are a wee bit tarnished. And we know that the Swiss Silver Mercs were hired to protect whatever's going down. What I don't know, and this is the thing that does concern me as I've been thinking about it, is where did someone like Pierre come from?
Well, this is what I got. So I was looking through some watch reports with my father, and
They just let
he
you,
just drops that, you know. It's like,
they just let you look at private reports for the government police.
He
Yes.
is the son of the Lord.
Huh. Nepotism at its finest. Go on.
and with that, just like goes back to his scrawled pieces of paper and parchment and sort of flattens them out, spreads them across the table, and you see Riverside reports overseen by Captain Harkus, and then something slightly smudged, delegated to particular 4 officers, and then a small list of names, as well as just above Captain Harkus's name, you see the name Councillor Woodrow. So Councillor Woodrow is the one in charge of city security. Captain Harkus is the one in charge of Riverside and law enforcement around here.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he gets these sort of, I noticed through some of the reports that more and more of the smaller incidences that sound like kind of stuff that Pierre and Carmen were up to were getting delegated to the same 4 officers, and then they were just disappearing. These reports would just vanish without repercussion.
Miss Cotta brings out the messages she got from Carmen. All of the written pieces of paper that basically say Lena, Elwyn, Tangaroa, and Elliot. And see if the names line up.
They do. Perfectly.
Well, if that isn't independently verified, I do not know what is.
So we know who.
But we don't know what.
Has there been any reaction? No.
Nothing's
No,
nothing's really been noticed from the council's perspective. I don't know if he's in on it or not.
All right.
But the reports are coming from the watch captain in the area. So presumably whatever the watch captain reports is what the councillor reads.
Scoop, do you have any contacts who may know this Captain Harkus? Perhaps they could give us an estimation of his character, at least.
I have one, but it might take some time to get in contact with them. But it'd certainly be very useful to update them on what we found so far.
In the meantime, if we're talking about heads of snakes and such, do we know who Harkus is working for? It doesn't take much to let power to go to somebody's head. I've seen it happen time and time again. But I wonder if Harkus is the only one. Is there anyone that from the... And she looks over to the accountant. Has there been any reaction to, well, people in places where they have been left? Or do you know?
So far, I've not heard anything, but I will follow that one up later today. See if any pieces started moving of their own accord.
Well, seems like we're finally starting to put the pieces of this puzzle together.
Have we worked out where that napkin came from?
Not
The
yet.
handkerchief. Good point.
Not yet. We've been... It was a napkin, right? To some sort of greasy dive joint that smelled like beer.
Yeah, it was.
We have no... It had the O... H-O, hang on, I've forgotten.
It was
What did it have?
O-R.
I knew that was there. Did we find anything out about where that could be?
Not as of yet.
Do you think that's a meeting place?
If it's in Riverside, it makes sense. Like, not many people question shady dive bars. Shady things happen in shady dive bars, that's half the point.
Or restaurants? And he pauses for a moment, looking around. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Another question.
Hmm.
Sorry.
You first.
Well, this puts us in an interesting position. If no one out there is yet aware of our goings on, the question is, how much do we let them know? If we act a little more brazenly, perhaps, it might cause some people to start reacting. The question then is, who and what?
Good point.
Well,
We
we've
not have
taken
enough to
away-
shake the tree.
We've taken away the main the main talking point, given that Carmen's out and Pierre is, from what I understand, also out.
Yes. Well, as the farthest branches from the trunk of the tree have been trimmed somewhat at this point, we have to worry about whether or not the branches that remain are strong enough to perhaps fall on us and deal some hefty damage. So,
Well,
you have to be careful when shaking it.
there's another thought. If the Swift Silver Mercs are in town, they're legally allowed to operate in Arkpoint, which means they'll have an official place of operations, an official sort of... Oh, what's the word?
Hideout?
Yeah, but without the hiding.
Oh.
Which means...
Oh,
Headquarters.
headquarters.
That's it, that's the one. Headquarters. Yes, that sounds right. And if they're sending money to watch Captain Harkus, that's got to get to him somehow, right?
It's just perhaps we intercept with these couriers or drop-offs.
And find out where else they go.
And if there's one thing I know from like my investigations and the stories I've come across of these kind of operations, if we put a squeeze on the transfer of money between all parties involved, that'll certainly shake the tree.
Oh, most definitely.
And on top of that, if we can prove that the mercenaries are paying off watch guards, then this can come crumbling from the top down, as the proper procedures and the law will come crashing down on them in a corruption investigation.
I
Scoop's
think
Scoop's writing these notes with his illusionary pen.
it's also important that you ensure to pick which side you want to win and which one you do not. In this instance, I lean towards favoring the mercenary side. They are what they are, and you can be sure that they are going to do what they will do. But corrupted officials could do anything. They are a highly, much more dangerous foe. So if we are going to lean one way or the other, I would lean against them.
Certainly makes sense. The mercenary
Also
group,
doesn't-
once cut off from their corrupt higher-ups, will probably just fall back on regular mercenary duties, but corrupt higher-ups cut off from their mercenary group will probably just fund another.
Exactly.
Also, on top of all of this, if the Arkpoint coppers tarnish any further, well, other means step in. People like to control. Or people
is
like
true.
to know things are stable, and if there's no sense of stability in the police force, then other types of lawlessness increase. If there's no
Well,
faith in the people protecting you, especially.
Young Master Janus.
Yes?
I would draw your attention very closely to what Miss Cotter has just said. I think it will do you well to remember that lesson. An important face can, how to say that, ward off a lot of possible eventualities even without doing anything. If the watch seems stable, the more nefarious sorts will less likely to try things. It's during chaos that they rise up to power.
He kind of looks ponderingly, sort of side to side, smile, reaches across his face, and he nods. Yeah, I think I get it.
The reality of the situation is often completely different, but perspective is usually everything.
And people are people, wherever you go.
To that end, perhaps we should just Scoop looks at the accountant. Perhaps we should approach this from. We could potentially approach this from a different angle. I mean, change is best comes from within. Perhaps at the risk of since we are about to undertake an operation that may risk a power vacuum in this area, perhaps we should loop in some key elements of the. Just points a hand, opens a hand towards Janus, the various politicians of this area, and perhaps key elements of the guards on our plans, or perhaps not necessarily what we're planning, but make it so that it seems that the change came from them and they can oversee. So if any power vacuum happens, it's clear that they will be the ones first leading the charge to fill it.
Who would replace Arcus? Do you
There
know?
would be. I don't
It would
know.
be good to find that out.
If there are other aspiring watch officers in the area that are looking, that are in line to get a promotion, then
It might
maybe.
be worthwhile to ensure that we have someone who's trustworthy and of higher standing to
As it happens, I
lined up.
know of exactly one such gentleman.
Oh,
And-
that's right.
Young Officer Garland.
That's true.
He's
Doesn't
not on the
like
list.
it. Didn't like what was going on, but knew about it.
Perhaps
Certainly
it is an
okay.
opportunity to see if he really wants change.
It might.
I have no doubt, Mr. Scoop, you have at least one or two contacts within the constabulary who you believe to be above board.
Most assuredly. And 2 copper coins is better than 1. Wait. 2
Two
coppers,
shining copper
two
coins.
2 birds in the bush. Yes. We should lining up multiple options is certainly a good idea.
It also lines up multiple avenues to fail as well. So don't be afraid of it.
Yes, but it's good to have more friends than fewer.
She
does
looks
it-
so pointedly at you at that. She's like, yes, it is, isn't it? It's very
Completely
important.
agree.
Yes. Well,
I take a big
As
drink.
you, and she looks at you, Scoop, and then she looks at the smiling face of the accountant, and then looks back at you, and gives you like the standard, you know what you did, stare, and just like, after all, friends are great to have, but they're also great at breaking people's hearts. So be careful.
yes.
I am sure
Always-
Scoop is. Sorry.
Sorry.
You hear a rustling noise coming from Janus as he's searching around in more of his pockets for more loose paper. Does anyone have a quill?
Hands over. Scoop hands over his.
It puts a slightly larger and about as crumpled sheet sort of in the middle of the table.
Oh,
All right.
you wanna twist the end if you want everyone to see it.
Oh, all right. So, what's the plan?
Good point. Well, we have many avenues through which we can explore. We can attempt to find and root out the operations and the money handoff between the higher ups and the lower end,
And
that being the mercs as we have found them. We could attempt to. Well, we certainly should attempt to maneuver our own trusted officers into a position through which they can fill any gaps that might happen if we were to destabilize the guard. In destabilizing the guard, we should definitely look into the guard captain, Captain Harkus. Get a sense of this person. Perhaps even being able to see them might inform us greatly. Perhaps we should keep an eye on him.
We should find out what OR is. Because if it's the spot where everyone's meeting,
Or like composite or. Oh, you mean OR? Yeah. Sorry. Yes, good idea. Excellent suggestion.
can Miss Cutter do a quick look out to the people around us? Just a very quick glance past the accountant. See if there's anybody watching the table.
Yeah, no, you. No one seems to be like paying attention to you. They're either engrossed in their own lunch, and like you are pretty. The accountant asked specifically for a booth, sort of sequestered
Away.
away, so you
Doesn't mean we can't be careful.
Yeah.
Especially given Carmen at least knows what we look like.
that's true.
Fair point.
There is also the possibility of those other 4 who work beneath Harkers. It is
Lena,
quite
Owen.
possible that they are still turnable.
Perhaps they could be
They may-
redeemed.
Maybe.
And they may be being threatened.
They
One
might
bad
just be
deed does
paid
not-
well.
Yes. Perhaps they
if
are.
they're being paid to neglect their duties, so they're not the kind of people you want on the watch. They're
That's
not the
true,
kind of
but we
people
do
I
not-
want on the watch.
But
we
they
we
are the
should-
kind of people who will sell out their companions, and that is what we would look for.
We should, however. I
But we
recommend
want
we
to
reserve
catch all of
judgment.
them.
We do not know the full circumstances that they find themselves in. It's entirely possible they are being blackmailed themselves.
Well, regardless, we've got avenues. We should follow at least one of them, or else we're going to be stuck in the crossroads forever.
This is
I
true,
think-
this is true.
Could OR be the drop-off point?
Or it could be the drop-off point. I do think, though, that now we know that it is the Swiss Silver Mercs. That's a faster and much easier route to track when you've got a name to something.
It's certainly a location we could visit. We could track down the Swiss Mercs base of operations, have a look over it ourselves. With any luck, we could simply walk into the place and, I don't know, ask to see a receptionist or.
I don't know if a receptionist is going to see us.
Alternatively, sorry.
Perhaps if someone of higher standing perhaps expressed interest in
Hiring?
learning. No, maybe not hiring per se, but wait, that is actually a good idea. Hiring. Perhaps someone of a higher standing, we could pretend to want to hire them for their stuff. So, sorry, this was your idea. Would you like to?
No, I was filling in the gaps of what I thought you were saying, Mr. Scoop. Are you saying what we should be impersonating on top of the list of the other things that we already done? Impersonate someone to hire the Swiss Silver Mercs to tell us everything they know about a client that they just had.
Well,
Before they go out of
go at
town.
it a bit more subterfugeously. There was a chapter in I once was in an investigation where I sort of tried to hire out someone who I knew was shady, and I used where they were booked on their schedule to find out where their other businesses were going on. So if we went in there trying to hire them for certain days where we know activity was likely to happen, we could get a sense of which days are more likely to happen for shady dealings. Sorry, it's been a while since I read this. I mean, since this investigation.
I'd like to inside check this, please.
Yeah, roll an insight check.
Has Scoop actually ever done this?
Roll either deception or persuasion. Don't
Muddy
tell us
20.
which.
Deception.
You don't have to tell us.
Muddy
which.
20.
Sure.
Let's see. That is, I believe, a 15.
Okay.
Muddy 20.
You can see that this is clearly an idea and something he has attempted. Whether or not it has successfully happened is another matter entirely.
Alright.
Alternatively,
Yes?
we could simply tail Harkes or his underlings. They would be too confident to believe anyone was following them at this point in time, and just
Well-
simply wait till they lead us to the drop-off point.
Excellent point.
Mr. Accountant, sir, there are literal remains of things that might give him pause to do such a thing.
Exactly, which is why we should act now, before they start to ask questions about why their men in the field have suddenly gone
Oh.
silent.
Scoop raises a good point. If they were going to make contact, they would be doing it very soon and in a hurry.
Which means
So I
better.
suppose...
Which means
If
if we try to organize a meeting with their leader, and we do that now, and organize it for as soon as they're available, we get to
We
find
might
out
learn.
when they're unavailable,
Ah,
and that
See,
gives
that-
us a clue.
I see you've been paying attention, Janus. Excellent. the quill helps, doesn't it? It always helps me think.
It's really good.
Perhaps this is worth dividing our efforts.
We're splitting up again. Alright. I can't see how this could possibly go wrong.
Well, we don't necessarily have to split up. However, if we can get some
I think
eyes on
that's
this
fair.
Captain Harkus now, we might be able to notice when he's informed. Clearly, that I don't know about you, but I always
You
give away
have-
what I'm thinking about upon my face. Also, I've been told.
Oh.
You know, when I don't just say it out loud or write it down or mutter it under my breath.
Yes, no, you're very obvious sometimes and you're very unobvious others, and sometimes you cover up the unobvious things with the obvious things and it's very obvious. Anyway,
Exactly.
another
Well, I'm
point of
glad
look.
we have agreed upon that.
If we are splitting, do you have eyes inside the watch then? Because I can't
I
go
bet that
inside a
might
building
work.
like that without being revealed, and I, quite frankly, don't want anyone knowing I'm in there.
Fair point. I, however, am a frequent visitor to the guardhouse.
How many times have you been arrested, Scoop?
0, actually. Well, not arrested. Like, they put handcuffs on me or anything, but I've been asked for questioning a few times. That doesn't count. I don't count those. This doesn't
How
go
many
on my
times have you
record.
been fined?
All the other things do.
Oh dear. Well, if that's the case, I'm sorry, Janus. I don't know if you're the right person to have with him at the time. Should the note. Please remember who you are. If Mr. Scoop comes in with you, what do you think they're going to think? You already tried to stop a watch vehicle together.
Exactly. I don't want to be associated with someone that hijacks a carriage. That kind of thing
pretty
goes on your
cool,
record.
I thought it was cool.
I mean,
It
we
was
don't
cool.
have to enter into the building. I assume he will leave his office at some point to go home, or literally anywhere else. We could wait outside.
Yes, but I don't
Well-
want to run the risk that perhaps one of these corrupt 4 or was it 4 or 5?
Or
Oh, sorry, I don't- 4. Yeah, like perhaps one of these. Like if we were waiting outside, if we saw one of these 4 go in, we'd be. I don't know about you, but
do
I'd
we
be
even
terrified
know
that
what they
perhaps
look like?
that is an excellent point. We should get a sense of what these people look like.
So what you're
If only we had,
saying
like,
is everyone stand up off the table, head toward the thing, stare.
And see who
Yes.
talks to who.
Perhaps not as obviously, but more or less.
It would certainly be useful if we
Alright.
could get perhaps some documents, perhaps personnel files. I presume they have photos.
What's a photo?
You know, it's like when I draw things, except better.
You mean like a sketch?
Yes, I
Yes.
think he does.
Right.
Well, I saw this one. There was this one fellow that was doing some shopping, doing some. I don't know. Like I went to this shop, right, and there are these things in frames, and they look so amazing. They were way better than my sketches.
Oh, that's called a portrait.
No, it was like landscapes and things.
That's called a landscape.
Really? Could I have
Alright.
that pen back? I would like to write that down.
Alright, so regardless, it sounds like at least partially we're going to the watch to check. But we're also going to the Silver Mercs to check? Is that what I'm getting?
Seems like
Something
this
like
idea.
that.
I personally do think the Mercs are perhaps dead end at this point.
Alright. At least we have a slight in with them.
Anywhere they meet up with Harkus. Any same place they go to.
I
There's going
think
to be
if
more
we
clues
ask
there.
around, Mr. Accountant, sir, if you've got contacts that know about where people
I-
might meet,
I could probably find a couple. Hell, in all honesty, I could probably organize a meeting with those Mercs if we need it.
Good point.
that might be wise. Also, if possible, may I talk to you about something after?
Oh, of course, of course.
Thank you.
Well,
Okay, so what's the plan?
What are we doing?
Who's
Alright.
going where and chasing what lead?
The way I see it, when we leave this table, the accountant's going to go and contact his people. I'm going to contact my person, and
Janus and Miss
Ben.
Coulter are going to have a bloody picnic?
well,
perhaps you
No.
could go speak to our Officer Garland.
Garland?
He may have
Yes.
some descriptions of the people we look for, so we can put faces to names.
I'm not quite as certain as you, but I'll see if I can do my job.
well, as you've
Like
seen,
you.
threats don't necessarily breed results.
And you are being accompanied by the Lord's son.
Yes, which is going to lend him even more pause to knowing that it's associated with the accountant. My goodness, you three, I swear to heavens. She stands up, puts on her hat.
The accountant smiles.
Grabs her
All
umbrella.
things, I think this is going quite well.
Well, let's head out. I don't know if we should be doing this around a table. In a restaurant. Hmm?
Very
You
well.
okay, Scoop?
Oh, yes.
You buzzed a
I
little.
just feel a little,
Scoops.
I feel a little
Scoop
antsy
had-
about my bed.
Scoop's having the pop rocks. They're starting to crackle in his mouth.
It was nice, bro.
Alright.
All right,
As
let's
we
go
kind
find
of
off the accountant.
Janus, if you just wait a moment, I just need to talk to the accountant for a hot second. Is that alright?
Oh.
Yeah, Janus, come with me. As he sees Scoop very not subtly trying to reach for the pen.
Of course, what's
Mr. Accountant, sir. There's a person within the family that knows, and she's saying this out of earshot, hopefully, of Scoop and Janus. There's a person within the family that you and I both know that would know exactly how to fill a power vacuum.
yes.
It also means that they probably know better than most what's going on at the upper echelon.
You were also.
No, you first.
No, I was simply going to agree. Although I do have hope. Perhaps we can reposition at least some members of the Watch, so that power vacuum is at least a little less appetizing.
Oh, for Ricky? Ricky's an opportunistic bastard, I know.
Granted. Still, enemy. Sorry. Those you know are better than those you don't.
Ugh. Trust me, I know. But what I'm saying is, if you are looking for information about that, you're gonna have to give something in exchange, but he's probably the best person to talk to about this. There's a reason he's on the other side of the table with Panama. And it's not just because they're related.
Yeah.
I don't say
Okay.
now, but if it starts to get bad. Especially if you can get his sister to ask her. Ask him. Probably more likely to do it, unless things have gotten worse. I don't know what's going on. I haven't been there in a long time.
No, I will keep my ears to the ground for that one. I'll just see what they're doing at this current point. Perhaps their movements are already aligned with ours anyway. But as a plan C, at best, it is at least decent. I'd just rather have all their alternatives explored first.
Alright. I'm putting it out there. Because as much as I hate it, I don't know anything much about how things like that work. And I know he definitely does. Do you know if he's doing okay?
I mean, he's still breathing with all 4 limbs.
I would like a little bit better than that, but you know, there's only so much a person can ask for. What about Panama?
Panama is thriving, as it happens.
Oh. I hope she's not being too hard on you.
No. We don't keep the same hours, which tends to help.
Bloody night owl. Alright. I'm gonna head off with Janus, and do I still have the bloody spell stone? Or what's going on with that? No, you've got your spell stone, and then we've got Janus's. Alright.
Mhm.
You two know each other's numbers, right? Your arcane sigils. You guys have swapped sigils, right?
I quickly recite the sigils back to Janus to confirm.
Janus, your mic's off.
Ends with double triangle star.
Janus does not have his spellstone.
Oh,
What do you mean you don't have your spell stone?
I don't have it on me.
Did you get it confiscated?
No. I know
You
where it
just
is.
got
Yeah.
Let's say Scoop's office before the end of the night.
That's an excellent point. Having someplace
That
to
works.
fall back to would be great.
Sounds good.
It's Riverside. We could try one of the fountains, or I don't know, somewhere near the causeway. Oh, wait, no. Which side are we on? North?
you're on the other side of the river to the causeway at the moment.
All right. We could be near maybe one of the bridges.
I'll bring up the map.
Excellent.
So you're around this area.
Mhm.
So this is North Riverside.
And that park to the top of the map is where the chase led to,
Yes, that was the initial.
because it's really near Nakana's High.
Yeah.
Right.
There. Canis
Should
Heights
we
is this
say-
big park here, and this sort of
Yep.
stuff. You're along the river edge. Scoop's office is down here on Shark Tooth.
If we want to meet somewhere nearby, because all of this is happening in the same area, right?
Yes. So pretty much all you've heard has been happening in North Riverside.
All right. Perhaps we should meet near Central Bridge then, like that small tiny one in the center.
Perfect. Easy enough to see anyone coming if there's any problems.
Yes.
I'm
It's
so
a
far
good
away
avenue of
from
escape.
everything. Yep. All right. Janus,
Yes.
how did you get sauce on your ear? Skins it.
What?
Cleans it up with a napkin. Just how the... Come on.
Okay, just so I am aware of what's going on. Janus and Miss Cotter are going to find Officer Garland,
Mm-hmm.
and the accountant is going to look into his contacts, and Scoop is looking into his own contact, potentially.
Yes.
Okay.
What a great plan.
Yeah.
True.
The
At
plan is
least
to
it's a
find more
plan.
information.
The plan...
Well, yeah.
The plan is honestly, like... I feel like the plan is coordinate and then attack.
Yeah.
By the sounds of things.
That works.
We're
That
putting
works.
names to faces at this point.
Yeah, because we don't know who
Names,
what they look
faces,
like.
and locations.
Yeah.
We're trying to put together a when, who, and where.
That makes
We're
sense.
basically,
sorting out the
because we couldn't
who's.
get that last time.
Also, a
We know the
what?
who's. What do you mean?
Hmm.
I mean, this isn't just a strong arming racket.
Oh yeah, no.
So what is it?
Yeah, perhaps
It's a
there
bid
is
for
more elements
power.
to this.
All right, who's first?
Wow, unless someone wants to go first, I'll roll a d6 or a d3, I should say.
Oh, yeah, sounds good to me.
Let's go with the accountant. Mr. Accountant.
Okay.
Who are you reaching out to?
That's a great question. Okay. So thinking about it, who would I know anyone who operates in the riverfront area, or anyone in the neighboring districts?
Yeah. You would know, like, a few people. Any person in particular are you looking for, just general people who have information on things, like, potentially?
Okay, actually, I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. So first thing, I want to assess what are the good drop-off points in this region that people use or have used in the past. Like, where are the underground meeting places, and do any of them line up with the OR that I happen to know of?
Right.
And the second thing that I actually specifically want to do is I'm going to see if I can find someone who can give me info on this Harkess or any of those other four, but mainly Harkess.
Right.
Like, if we've done any digging on him, if anyone's already got some reconnaissance, or if we even have him on the books by chance, find out what I can there.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna say this is an investigation check for you.
Ooh. Sounds good. Okay, now I have a higher passive investigation than an actual investigation for reference.
Oh, how does that work?
Because I have observant, it gives you a bonus to passive investigating, but not investigating. Anyway,
That's weird.
it is investigation check is 16 on the dice, by the way.
Okay. That's
And-
pretty good.
Ooh, can I ask for advantage using my criminal contact feature in tandem with that?
I'll allow it.
Very good. Nah, still 16 is the highest.
No worries. That's still a pretty good one. You reach out to let's go dwarven man named Heimer.
Named
Heimer. Heimer.
Heimer. Excellent.
Yes. He's a middle-aged dwarven man.
Wow.
Yeah. Beautiful art.
Excellent. In that case, so
Hmm.
I will compose myself, make my way to either a agreed upon meeting place or an office if he has one.
Yeah, so he, you can find him in his place of work. He works in an office in Riverside, or close, like, sort of, on the border between Riverside and Carnus Heights. He, funnily enough, is in financing. But does also keep a small information
Racket.
the word, like, information broker kind of deal.
Oh, perfect. That's exactly the person I'm looking for.
Hmm.
In which case, I'm going to make my way to their office.
Yep.
And yeah, enter in, go up to reception.
Good morning. Afternoon. My apologies. I am looking to speak to Mr. Heimer, if he is available.
The receptionist is like, oh, who shall I say is asking to see him?
Tell him it's his accountant.
Okay. The receptionist goes sort of up the stairs. You hear a bit of talking. Come back. He's free now, if that works for you.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna make my way up there. Knock on the door as I enter in.
Come in.
Mr. Heimer, a pleasure.
Mr. Accountant. How are you?
As it happens, I am doing splendidly. How are you on this fine day?
Yeah, business as usual. What can I help you with? I assume you always come for business, not just a social visit.
You know, I am beginning to think on that. Perhaps next time I will bring a bottle with me, or more polite. But you are right, I am here on business.
As are most people who come to my office.
I'm going to pull out a chair and sit up across from him.
Mr. Heimer, there are a couple of things I'm looking into within this region. One of which, I have reason to believe that there are financial exchanges happening in discrete locations. Would you happen to know of any places one may look to find such dealings?
I mean, I might.
Good answer.
And he just
The
sort of like,
second thing.
you see him just sort of like, his eyes dart. There's like a tip jar on his desk.
Ah, of course. Of course. The second thing, I think it is important to keep this in scope. I'm looking for information of a particular guard captain of this area.
I look over towards the tip jar and look back to him.
Although might be a bit difficult. Perhaps I should just stick to the first request.
This is up to you.
People say I'm always too serious.
And I grab out a handful of gold and drop them into the jar.
He nods, but his expression doesn't really change at all. He's still kind of just, thank you, I appreciate it. What? So you, to be there, to understand what you are looking for, you want potential locations where discrete exchanges could be made.
Correct.
In all of Arkpoint or in the local area?
In just this area. And secondly, I'm looking for an informational dossier on a one Captain Harkus. He also runs the riverfront area.
Yes. Well,
That one, I expect, will cost more.
quite a bit. I can look into this and put this together for you. Give me 2 hours. I'll get in contact with my contact. And
More than
I can see what I can find for you.
More than reasonable, Mr. Heim. I appreciate your efforts and time. Brings out one other thing. I'm going to put a stack of actually, yeah, I was going to put another 10 coins into the jar. Have there been any other people interested in the current goings-on of this riverfront area?
I mean, I have a lot of clients that have a lot of interests in many things. You may need to be a bit more specific.
How much do I know this guy? Can I actually, yeah, can I get an insight to see if I trust him very much?
Yeah. Throw an insight in, or even yeah. Let me give me that roll.
It is 15.
What you know about Heimer is he's neutral in a sense. Like, he's not his information dealing is, he sells it to whoever pays for it. Like, he will sell information to criminals. He'll sell it to nobles who are looking to get dirt on each other. He'll sell it to the guard who have sort of found a dead end but figure he might have something. Like, he knows a lot, but he doesn't necessarily, it's not that he doesn't have a code, it's just like he just sees information as a commodity to sell to whoever will pay for it. He doesn't like it. It's no, what they do with the information is not anything he cares about.
Very well. In that case, to re-clarify,
As you are no doubt aware, there are some different parties interested in the river, this particular area at this point. One of which found himself in a terribly tragic accident this morning.
I did
No
hear
doubt
about
you've
that.
heard.
Yes.
Good.
Terrible tragedy.
Yes, appears to have choked on something. Now, I am curious. Had either that individual or members of the Swiss Silver Mercenary Company come to you for, how to say, your expertise on this region?
You mean in the last, since that incident happened, or?
Oh, I doubt you've spoken to that gentleman since this morning. But no, perhaps over the last 4 to 6 weeks.
He's thinking for a bit on this. I would have to check my business records on that matter. I can add that information to what you've already asked about when you come back. Is that agreeable?
More than reasonable. Now, Mr. Heimer, I will speak plainly. I understand as a broker of information, you are strictly a neutral observer to the goings-on around you. And so I have no doubt that perhaps when I leave, or perhaps a little while later, and someone asks, you may tell someone that I was here, and I fully accept and understand that position. You may even tell them what you tell me, I do not know. However, all I will offer, it is my intention to keep you and this place of business a neutral party, and so I will not bring my problems here. I ask that you offer me the same courtesy. Reasonable?
Understandable, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Heimer. And as I stand up, next time I definitely will bring that bottle. Good day.
Good day, Mr. Tom. And
Scene.
scene. Uh, before we move on to the next scene, I think we shall take a break. That is reasonable to everyone. I quite need one right now.
The accountant would enjoy a beverage, yes.
So, good.
And we're back. So we will join Scoop as he's sitting at a nice table just outside a cafe.
Yes. Scoop has a newspaper in front of him, and sitting on a plate not far from him is a croissant.
Mm. Delicious. As you're waiting here, your gnomish friend from the watch approaches. Oh, hey Scoop.
Oh,
I got your.
I see you got my message. Putting down the newspaper.
I did. What? Scrolling it like on the notice board right outside the office. You can't. I'm guessing no one else can see that.
Yes, and if they could, it's really in thieves' cant anyway.
Hmm. What did you want to see me for?
Well, I would like to update you on my investigation so far.
Ooh, yes, please.
Well, I've uncovered quite a few tantalizing details. Please, have a seat. I bought you a croissant and a slider for it. It's got chocolate in it.
Ooh, delicious. And they listen carefully while you recount the various details.
Scoop takes a look around and would like to make a roll to see if we're being listened in on.
Give me a perception.
Let's see. That plus my perception is I have to do math. 25.
From what you can tell, like you, yeah, no one seems to be paying attention to this little meeting. The outside observer, it just looks like two friends meeting for coffee.
All right, please. And I just do like I pull up the newspaper again, and just with one hand, so that Officer Cross can take the other side of the newspaper, obscuring us from view with our back against the wall. As I, with my free hand, lay out my notepad and turn to a page, tapping with my pen, revealing the contents of said page.
Yeah, they take
The
the other
contents
side
of
of the
said page
newspaper.
being, and I'll walk Mary Cross through the contents. Well, so far what we've uncovered is there is clearly, as you had suspected, some sort of racketeering going on in the Riverside district.
Yes.
We identified two individuals, some fellow by the name of Pyre, and another fellow who's we've yet to uncover the name of. Now, below that, we have we suspect that these people are perhaps in on this corruption. There is a captain in your very own guard named Captain Harkness. I've yet to lay eyes upon this person or
You mean
see
Captain
them.
Harkus?
So I'm quite sure what they look like. Yes.
He's
By any chance, do you know them?
someone. Yeah. I mean, you think he's in on it?
Very much so.
Is-
And not just him. There's more. Tapping below, there are 4 names of other officers. Liana, Elvin, Tangaroa, and Elliot.
Yes, I know. I've not worked with any of them myself, but I know of them.
Yes, well, it would seem that whenever these strong-arming operations were going on in the Riverside District, these 4 officers were tasked with investigating the goings-on and would always brush it under the wind and quell them.
I understand. That does seem to add up with, like, 'cause, yeah, whenever I wanted to look into anything, Harkus always said he had someone handling it. Okay.
And there was also someone else, an official. Forgive me for a moment to peruse my notes. It was here somewhere. I'm flipping through pages, which to Officer Cross, completely blank. No, it's here somewhere. Here somewhere. Ah, darn. I can't read my own handwriting unless it's spelled out for me. I'll get back to that. Well,
Okay.
does this fall in line with your own investigation? If you've, in any way, partaken in such a thing?
I mean, it doesn't seem wrong. As I told you, I've not been able to look into it much myself. The red tape and all that. It was always other officers on the job. But yeah, no. It makes sense if there's corruption in North Riverside. Okay.
Yes.
So
I've got it.
do you have a plan or something? I mean, I can
I'll get that in a second.
I can maybe if I could try to look into some of their reports and stuff. But I'm not sure how much I'll have access to.
Yes, well, we think that maybe there's another,
Do you have any hard evidence to prove the
not
corruption?
as of yet. We're working on it. But
Is that-
there is
that-
also a Councillor Woodrow who may in some way be linked to this.
What? I mean, in what way? Council Woodrow they oversee all the watch over the entire city. You think they'd be in on it too?
Not necessarily. Again, this is just that we've uncovered their names in our investigations. I have, again, as you were alluding, I don't have any hard evidence as of yet, but we're working to uncover some.
Okay. Yeah. No. If you find hard evidence, I'll try and look into some stuff myself. And we can. But
Oh, that reminds me. Being a member of the Guard, are you familiar with any, I don't know, like drinking establishment that might have links to the initials OR?
that. Oh, I do know. I have heard some of the officers talk about the officers' respite. Place where some of them go for drinks when they're off shift, but I don't know anything. Like they've never invited me or anything, so.
Well, I'll look into it for you.
Thanks. You think that's linked in some way?
Yes, as we were tracing those two individuals I spoke of earlier, we chased them into an alley, and one of them dropped a napkin that had these initials on it. It smelled of alcohol.
Okay.
So it's possible we might find some leads there.
Well, I'll see if I can get in on their next a happy hour or something. Maybe I can find something as well.
Well, if you find anything, you know how to get in contact. My mail slot's always open. As as my landlord makes sure to remind me.
Thanks, Scoop. You've been a great help.
Anytime. Good luck.
You too. And they.
I'll wait 15 minutes after you leave, so it doesn't look like we were together. Skip takes the part of the newspaper back, gives it a shake, and goes back to quote-unquote reading.
Okay. They make their way off.
All right.
Then we'll make our way back to Riverside for a second. As Miss Cotta and all good? Yeah, Miss Cotta and Janus. Gonna need a so looking for a specific watch officer trolling
Yes.
or
Yes.
how are you two going about that?
Well, I remember the last area where we found him, right?
Yeah.
So I describe him to Janus. Tall, pale, mousy brown hair with sort of a bulbous nose. Human. If you see him, don't engage straight away, I guess.
Okay.
So, you don't have a bloody spellstone on you, do you?
No, sorry.
All right.
What do
We
we
should
want to find
probably-
out from this officer Garland?
We want to know what the people that we're after look like. Maybe they know something about no and an R. And what I suppose stuff about the captain.
Anywhere that the captain's been hanging out, or anyone he's been talking to
Or-
lately?
Especially, we should probably ask him if there's any higher ups that have been visiting the precinct more than once. That's probably or regulars that aren't necessarily members of staff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We should come up with a cover story as to why we're looking into some of these officers.
Oh, no. They know.
Oh.
The accountant was very clear. One of the
Well,
things
that
I very
helps.
much appreciated about him.
All right.
Let's look.
Let's go. Let's go find him.
Not hard to find a. How do I want to go about this?
What?
Yeah. Give me an investigation check, both of you.
All right.
Okay.
On my end, it's a dirty 20.
A muddy 20.
That's definitely going to roll higher than mine. I got a 16.
Muddy 20 is fine.
Muddy 20.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you actually managed to run into Officer Garland again.
Officer, I'm so glad to see you again. Janus, you hear a distinct shift in Miss Cotter's voice. She sounds perkier, happier, and so much more positive than a few seconds ago. Not the Miss Cotter you regularly know.
You notice a confused look, and then a moment of realization in Garland's face, like, oh,
Hello.
hi, can I help you, miss?
Oh yes. There's some very important information that I've been told to give you. Is there something would you mind coming down this way? Don't worry.
Sure.
Don't.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is my friend, Jan.
Looks at you curiously.
Ignore him. He's learning. I think. I don't know. It's quite confusing, honestly.
Okay.
Don't know why he's here. Hi.
What?
Takes
Can I
takes
help?
him down to the alley.
Yeah.
She doesn't drop because she was in this form
Hmm.
the previous time she interacted with him, and when she quote unquote lured him down to the alley.
Yeah.
And
You notice him sort of like as you enter the alley, he's like trying to peer around any corners.
oh, he's not here.
Okay.
Don't worry. He's somewhere else. Probably hard at work as usual.
All right. What? I need to get back to my route. What can I help with?
This is important.
Hmm.
And in regards to things that you two spoke about before,
Yeah.
we've been given a set of names from a very quiet now individual, and I need to just want to confirm some things because we don't quite know what they look like, and I'm pretty sure people would hate to be at the receiving end of being misinterpreted as someone else.
Okay. Right.
Would you be willing to give me a description on? I describe the four individuals: Selena,
Can you
Elwyn,
give the names. Yep.
Tangaroo. Yep, I give the names because I've been informed that these individuals have been taking over things that you're supposed to be handling amongst yourselves. And they've been pushing it under the table, apparently.
Those are. Yeah. No, I understand. I understand that. Well, you just want to know what they look like, so you can.
Yes. Interview them.
Hmm. Will they?
Or
Uh, you see,
In-
he's looking nervous
in
at this because he's just like,
in your opinion, officer, are they affecting everyone? Are they tarnishing the reputation of Olia? Because a lot of people in this area don't feel safe around you anymore. Not going to be.
no, I know what you mean, but and speaking of not feeling safe, there was a murder this morning.
Oh, really?
Yes, by a Janasi.
Oh,
Hmm.
You know anything about this? Because
I have no
Sneaking's-
sight or sound on it.
roll.
That's not a lie.
I'm just gonna roll an insight check.
Can I roll a contested persuasion check? Because that she's not lying.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'd like to
He's
throw in an insight
deceptive.
check as well, because this is the first Janus has heard of this.
Oh, okay.
No, wait, no. You guys told Janus that he
I
didn't
did
survive
say
the
he
series.
died.
Yeah.
It was mentioned that he
Um,
died. Never mind.
Okay.
She had no sight or sound on it, and that's a 25.
Yeah, he believes you. He believes, at least he believes that you don't know anything about it. He's like, all right, well, even if you don't know anything about it, I don't want to see
don't
more
think-
deaths.
I-
Is
I don't either. And I don't think I really want these things to happen. Are they being threatened, or are they choosing to do it? Because I'd rather them be locked up.
I don't know.
Do you know anything about your coworkers at all? Sick family, for example. Need to fund schooling. These things are expensive.
I'm sure they have their reasons. But they're sort of a bit of a kind of have a clique, if you know,
Oh,
like they
yes,
tend
no, I understand.
to hang out in the break room or spend their time after work together.
Where did they go?
Out drinking.
Do you have an idea of whereabouts?
A bar or something. A third. It's close by. Well, no, like it's in this. It's definitely in Riverside. Not sure where exactly.
Miss Cutter turns to Jan.
Yeah.
Does anyone else hang out in this clique? Or is it just those five?
Just from what I can tell, they and yeah, no, I don't. No one else I can really find
Does
out.
the captain
They seem
favor them?
they seem to get a bit of favor, yeah. Specific jobs.
And what about Captain Harkus? Do they tend to head over to that area too?
Yeah. Sometimes. Doesn't seem as involved, but definitely seems to be. Does join them on occasion. No one else really done
Do you
that.
have a name of the bar?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Alright.
I know.
Perhaps we'll be able to find something.
Hmm.
Oh, actually, what were the initials on that napkin again? Jan. Jan? Jan. Jan?
O-R, I think?
O-R?
OR.
Does that ring any bells?
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a something, the owl something. Owl's Roost?
Owl's Roost?
Yeah, something along those lines.
That'll help.
That's a like a small dive bar.
Alright.
Um,
Another question, if you don't mind, because if there may be a possibility that your captain is also being pressured by someone. Has the captain been seeing anybody quite often?
I mean, no more than usual, from what I can tell. Like
Anyone?
just the usual. I'm not always in to watch
No.
barracks, so but like visited by just the various higher ups or
Do you have any higher ups that have changed recently?
no, been pretty standard for the past the last change was probably like a year ago.
Who was it about a year ago?
Just one of the what's the rank above captain? Just one of the commissioners.
What was their name?
Commissioner Franklin. He took over from Commissioner Mock.
Alright. And if you don't mind me asking, and you can say no if you don't want to reply. Are you aware of the movements of your captain? Do they tend to stay long into the night? Do they tend to head out? And have you heard anything about the Swiss Silvermerks?
I mean, the captain, they work their hours, they go home. I can't say I noticed anything in particular. They just tend to, they come in 9 in the morning, leave usually around, when around sunset. Sometimes they stay longer, sometimes they head out earlier. I don't know
Anything
exactly
pressing?
what the duties of the captain are. As for the Swiss Silvermerks, I've heard of some of them in I know they have their recruiting office or whatever it is in Albert Flat, but I can't say we've their activity in the city seems to have died down a bit since a few months ago when they were just causing a lot of ruckus, but seems they got the message they weren't welcome. They still have some elements, but I'd say they still have jobs around, but I can't say of anything in particular.
Can I insight check the intentions of Officer Gauntlet? In terms of, is he kind of out to protect the watch and what it stands for? Is he out to protect his own?
Yep.
Is that okay?
You can give me an insight check on that.
Insight is a 12.
From this interaction and the previous interaction, you feel like this is an officer that wants to do their job, and they you get the impression that this is someone who joined the watch to do good in the city, but
Alright.
they
Okay.
they do seem to care about the people
Okay.
that they serve and protect.
Officer Garland, I'm going to be very serious for a minute. Do you have any intentions, if opportunity arose, to be promoted?
I mean, that would be good. I mean, promotions, nice. Better paycheck.
The reason I
Oh.
ask,
Hmm.
the reason I ask is your intention, if you gained more power, to do more good?
Yeah. I joined the watch
Because
to help people. If I had better opportunity to do so, it would be good.
if Captain Harkus isn't doing his job properly,
He may be
Nah.
fired.
he may need someone to step up
Hmm.
and take his place.
I understand.
And are you also understanding that there is a potential that it might happen sooner rather than later?
I mean,
And are you willing to step up?
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure.
no, it this needs to stop. What's happening? I can in whatever way I can help. If it's as long as it's above board. I don't want to see death.
Neither do I.
I don't either. But if it happens, it may. I don't know the details. And I don't know what's going to happen. But please be careful, and please, whatever you do, try to stay an untarnished copper. You seem like a good sir.
Thanks.
Alright. And she's going to think about if she has anything else she needs to ask.
Yeah.
Did we
she
actually
has
get a
a-
description?
Did we get? I'm going to ask about we know where they are.
Yeah, he can.
But
he
if
can
we could
give
get
you a
a-
description.
Cool.
Clara.
He did? Cool. Yeah.
Yep.
He gave us a small description of the tarnished coppers.
I'll
Harkus also was given a
I can give you the
as well?
description. Yeah.
Oh, please. Yes,
yeah.
please. Come
Alright.
in.
Captain Harkus, he is a he's half elf, half Goliath.
Nice.
So quite a distinctive visage, like tall, with the dark skin of a Goliath, but more sharp, fine features of an elf sort of thing. The other officers, Officer Lena is human, bit shorter, with dark hair. Officer Elwin is also human. Tends to be middling sort of human height, but with like fiery red kind of locks. Tangaroa is an orc. And obviously
Orc or
Elliot,
half orc?
full
Full orc?
orc.
Okay.
And Officer Elliot is a Gith.
Noise. But also him. Okay. Elliot's a gift. Nice. Alright.
Yeah.
Okay. And after we were given the information, thank you.
You will.
And she offers like herbal tea. I don't bribe. This is just a gift if you want it. Chamomile? You can rub it for your hands for good luck.
Sure, thanks. And
Janus
Takes
kind
it.
of chuckles at this.
gives it a little sniff. He's like, that's quite pleasant. And tucks it away in like a pouch in his belt.
And then, like, as they separate, like, Miss Cotter turns to Janus and is like, what? I don't exactly have the gold to just chuck at people, and I don't think he'd accept it anyway.
It's all right. I think it
What
was
are you
sweet.
chuckling at? Sweet. It's supposed to calm him down. We just got rattled.
I assume Officer Garland is either shocked and awe right now or walking away listening to this.
He sort of has walked down the street at this point.
So, Janus, I need to know, are you okay right now?
Yeah,
Do you understand
okay.
what he meant about the fire genasi?
I don't know. I didn't think I hit him that hard.
It wasn't you.
Oh.
But are you okay with what has happened to Mr. Pierre?
I mean, he was a bad guy, right?
She grabs either side of his face. Like this. Both hands just either side, and like you being 6 foot and her being smaller brings you down to her level and very much focuses it on you. No one deserves death. I want to hammer this in as hard as possible. No one deserves to die. Bad guy or no. Sometimes it happens, sometimes people do it, but I want you to understand that if it's possible, it should not happen.
All right.
Where you can, spare life.
I understand. We're going to need some more hard evidence. If we
Yes.
want to do this right.
Well, your way. But yes. I'll be honest with you, Janus. I'm worried. So be smart.
It's okay. I've got you with me.
Oh, don't you dare. I'm not going to bloody protect you from everything. I'm not your bodyguard. I'm definitely not being paid for this.
Alright.
But just
Sure.
nobody is inherent. Like, there are people who are evil. Just straight up. There are people with hearts and souls so black you could even see out of them when they're torn from their bodies. I want you to understand, and I want you to know that sometimes people are labeled as bad. They're labeled as criminals, and sometimes those people can be your closest friends. Are you okay with that?
I'm not gonna lie to you, Miss Carter. I'm kind of hungry. And I'm
Oh
not sure
my
what you mean.
goodness. I'm just saying, as she kind of drags him over to go get
Like,
something from a local
An
cafe.
hour after lunch.
He's a
boy.
grown boy.
Alright.
I think that she kind of goes like sighs and goes, "We'll get you a pastry." But what I'm trying to say, if you can focus on my words for more than a few seconds, is a person's actions and a person's core are two different things. Sometimes good people do very, very, very bad things. And sometimes bad people do very, very good things in efforts to be bad, honestly. It's all perspective, and it's up to you whether or not you make the choice. To accept a person as they are and what they do, or to live your life thinking that yours is the only one to look through. Alright?
Alright.
Now let's get you a bagel or something. What do you people eat?
The bagel sounds good. It's okay, I can pay for it.
Oh, I'm not destitute. I'm just comparatively broke compared to people with lots of money. Now shut up
Alright.
and eat your bagel,
Okay.
she says. Purposely buying the bit. Honestly, she would buy like the healthiest, most delicious looking bagel for him.
Yeah.
And then she herself would get the cheapest, lightest thing if she was hungry. Maybe just some tea.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be eating much.
No worries.
And we meet back, heading toward the bridge,
Well,
I guess.
we'll quickly just pop back to the accountant. Makes his way back to Heimer's office to collect the information he's asked for.
You will also see that he's carrying under his arm a parcel wrapped in butcher's paper.
Yeah.
And a second one in a small box.
Yeah. Curious. Well, yeah, so yeah, you get ushered up by the receptionist again. Hello, Mr. Accountant.
Ah. Mr. Heimer, I trust it has been a productive few hours.
Yes, I've gathered what I could about what you've asked for. You,
And I, in return, have brought something for you, Mr. Heimer.
And I reach into the box and pull out a small 750ml little glass bottle. It's shaped kind of like a head with two horns that curl back, and then between them is the lid.
This is, what was it they called it? Tiefling Fireball Whiskey.
That sounds...
Thought it would liven up the place. A gift.
Place it on his desk.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Accountant. Yeah. Uncorks it and gives it a whiff. Spicy.
Believe it is some form of cinnamon.
Well, I will enjoy this once I'm off the clock. Thank you.
Of course. Then to business.
To business. I've got a list of various spots where shady dealings can happen. Are you looking for... I could give you the whole list, though that covers easily over a dozen locations in North Riverside alone. What was the other thing?
Can you
Sorry.
rule out the ones that are used by the family? I doubt that would be even... I doubt that even our foes would be so brazen.
Mm-hmm. That narrows it down. You also mentioned the Swiss silver marks.
I did indeed.
Taking that into account, I may have a single location for you. There is a bar, an underground bar called the Owl's Roost, where they have been hired as security.
Ah. Mr. Heimer, your reputation precedes you. You do not disappoint.
I try not to. Bad business
That
can be
is-
disappointing.
I will sing your praises from the hills.
That would be
And-
unnecessary. I don't want too much attention brought to myself.
Of course, I understand. I'll keep my metaphors to myself. And Mr. Harkus,
Yes. Sorry. What exactly was the information you wanted on Mr. Hargis? Just
generally information about him.
Oh, just like a
who he is.
dossier.
Does he have a?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he basically hands over a dossier on Mr. Harkus, Captain Harkus. It's like, this is the information I could gather on Mr. Harkus.
Perfect.
They've been part of a watch for years. Nearly spotless record. But yeah, been posted as the captain of North Riverside for 2 bit years now.
And just flipping through, who has appointed him to that position? Do we know?
Commissioner Mock.
Commissioner Mock. Excellent. Well, I do not wish to keep any more of your time. I can read this at my own leisure. Thank you very much, Mr. Heimer, for your help on this matter.
You're welcome. And
No doubt I will. Yes?
sorry, the third point you asked about in terms of other parties coming for information about the thing. I couldn't find much more on that. I get information all the time. You are looking for something specific, please let me know. But sorry, I couldn't be.
No, that is fine. It either means they are not looking through these avenues, or they're covering their tracks better than I would have thought. Either way, it gives me pause. Very good. Well, Mr. Heimer, I appreciate your efforts. You have done fantastic work as usual.
Thank you.
And please, do enjoy that drink.
I
I
shall.
would recommend sipping it. And I'll give him a polite nod and take my leave.
Yeah.
Before presumably making our way to the bridge.
Yeah. So you all meet up near that bridge, getting close to evening, sun getting low in the sky.
Alrighty. Ah,
Sun's going down,
I'll
big
get
guy.
back. Scoop standing with a newspaper tucked under his arm and crumbs on his jacket.
Okay, we still got the newspaper.
The newspaper is like a week old.
It's his go-to.
Oh, that's something new.
What is it? It's not a
Old
week
paper.
old. It's like 12 months old. It's the first newspaper he picked up for the gig, and he's just used the same one ever since.
If it's broke, don't fix.
Oh,
For the comics.
Upon seeing Mr. Scoop, I'm going to make my way over.
Find anything good?
I do believe I've solved the mystery of our OR location.
I solved that as well. Perhaps our notes differ. Let's compare them. I know it to be a local bar by the name of the Officer's Respite.
Interesting. I know it is another bar by the Owl's Roost.
You don't say.
One that so happens to be a hot spot for the Swift Silver mercenaries.
Strange that our. Well, perhaps when Janus and Miss Cotter arrive, they might enlighten us.
as you do this cutter with Janus, I guess. Has brushed off the crumbs.
He's cleaner than when he left.
He is. He is significantly cleaner than when he left. Comes over, just like, hello, evening.
Evening.
Right. So don't debate for us. We're trying to figure out who's right on this one.
Is it the Owl's Roost?
No, it's the Officer's. Why did you? What makes you say that?
Well, Janus. She turns to Janus.
Got my notes.
You found the owl's roost as well?
We don't know that yet.
Yes.
Damn it.
Yes, Officer Garland was quite helpful.
And Officer Garland would also prefer not to be there to be any more murders.
Yes.
Probably
His exact
understandable.
words were, no more deaths.
Oh.
I think we
What
can
could
do
he
that.
meant by that? So, this Owl's Roost, like Officer Garland told you about, it's like a bakery or a carpentry shop
So-
or like a...
Oh, it's a bar.
a dive bar.
Damn it.
Perhaps the officer's
in-
respite ended at one in the same.
Or they're
Oh, nice.
nearby.
Like a
Excellent
code name.
Yes, like shorthand.
Ooh.
I like it.
Or we've also got a description of everyone as well, and I relay the information that we were provided.
A description. That would have been a good thing to ask about.
You didn't ask for a description.
Oh, no, it was just more of a check-in thing. Make sure they were up to date on the information I had, and so I could get some limited information from them that turned out to not really. Anyway, I'm
I
not
mean,
rolling things up.
Well, if your friend is the kind of person you say they are, they might not be in on this clique that we've been informed of.
They didn't seem to, no.
Yeah,
That
it
might
was
be part of it.
just the 4 officers we've got hanging out together pretty much all the time.
Did your information reveal anything of a Commissioner Mock?
Yes, they've been replaced within the last year with a Commissioner Franklin.
Interesting. Mock's the one who put Harkus in power.
So perhaps Franklin has changed the code of conduct.
Do we know when Franklin took office?
A year ago, roughly.
How long do we believe these events to have been transpiring? Janus, when you were looking through those security reports, how far back did they go that you happened to see?
The ones that I saw didn't go back that far. Things only really started to become clearly covered up. I think 2 months ago or more. A little bit more than that, maybe.
Yeah, it feels like this protection racket has only really been going on, 2 months at most.
It takes time for these things to seed, though. Perhaps something happened that triggered it.
Perhaps. Sorry, just for Alex's record here. How long ago were the events of the Sanguis soiree?
3 months. If memory serves.
Before the start of the campaign.
Yeah. It happened. The Sanguis soiree was like end of winter. It's about the end of spring now.
Was there any knock-on repercussions from the events at the soiree, perhaps?
Well,
It's the only thing I can think of that has occurred a few months ago that would transition to this.
do we know who replaced Lord Sanguis?
Well, from my understanding, Lord Sunquist is more of a inventor and not very involved in...
He was on the
Politics.
council.
He was on the council.
He wasn't very
He was.
involved in his duties on being on the council, but he was on the council.
And if you replace someone who wasn't involved with someone who suddenly is involved, that does change things.
That's true. We should definitely look into that.
Another interesting point. I must admit I find it humorous that on the level of the streets, when a power vacuum is created, we have this scenario, and very quite possibly the same thing has occurred in the political landscape, which has in turn caused these events.
Very true.
Mm.
Well, one thing's
Things
clear.
not gone. What's clear?
We definitely need to check out this Owl's Roost place.
Certainly.
Alright. Do we know... Does it have open and enclosed... It's an owlbear flat? Wait,
No,
do we know where
it
it is?
is.
Yeah, it's an Albert flat.
No.
No, that's the.
Wait,
that was
no,
the
that's
Swiss Silver Mercs.
It's in Riverside.
That's the
headquarters.
recruiting office.
It's in Riverside.
As
Shouldn't be too far from here, in fact.
as you're talking, a messenger lad.
Young man
purchase.
with a cat.
No, this is not Cole. This is like a
No,
like an
we
official.
love that little shit.
Like this is an official like there's people you can hire, like there's a business.
Sure, yeah.
I guess yeah.
What?
It would be a subsidiary of Giantus shipping, I guess. Like that.
Oh
This
no.
all the time.
No, but you were approached by
Swear
this
to God.
messenger boy, specifically the accountant is approached. Excuse me, sir. A message for you.
Ah, yes.
Of
course.
I wasn't
please.
sure exactly where to find you. I was just told a big half-orc in a suit in Riverside. I'm glad I found you. Are you
Who sent
Well,
you?
so
the accountant?
that is I.
Just a note. He's got like a little envelope with
Oh. I take the envelope
his.
and I hand him 5 silver.
Thank you, sir. He tips his hat and walks away. Looking through his bag for the next thing to deliver.
Wow, he's
Does
good.
it say? Does he say who it's from?
It doesn't have anything that says who it's from, but you recognize it is sealed with the stamp of the watch.
Oh, unsubtle.
I will
Seriously,
take a look.
unsubtle.
I mean, to be fair, they are the watch. Who are they going to hide from?
Oh, I know a few.
I crack open the seal,
Yeah.
and I would like to open and have a look at this letter.
This letter says to the accountant. We have things to discuss. Please meet me at the Owl's Roost Bar in Riverside. Signed, Captain Harkness.
Via pull down a letter.
Well, looks like we've just been invited to the Owl's Roost from an interesting Captain Arcus.
Is there a dress code? Should our call work? Is it tonight? Did they give us a time?
There's none of that on the note. It is very.
That was a very. I meant that as a very kind of dramatic representation of all our work kind of conspiring to this point, but you
Oh,
raised some interesting points there too.
Could
that's
I-
very frustrating. You'd think someone who files reports would know how to give proper instructions.
Scoop looks at the letter.
So his
What's-
reports are getting a bit sparse lately.
Scoop look up the letter. What did that say at the end? The owls.
Roost.
Pretty
don't
sure that
even-
did say roost.
We don't
In
know if it's
fairness, he wouldn't invite me, the accountant, to the officer's respite, would he?
I mean, he might. Exactly. He wouldn't want people investigating him to go to their actual place of shady dealings. He'd send you to a red herring location, right? Exactly. Right?
Mr. Scoop,
Yes.
just how much did you need this win?
I don't. Until everything is a mystery until the end.
Not necessarily. You can also just ask someone directly instead of being a pain in the ass.
That's not how. Okay, I'll try that.
Just give it a
Alright.
go. You'd be surprised how honest people are willing to be when you're right in their face.
Sometimes, if you want something, Mr. Scoop, you must ask for it.
Makes sense.
You can't get answers without asking questions.
Like when people have my pen and I ask for it back.
Did you get the pen back?
Yes.
Or like when a friend asks you over to dinner at his
Yes,
house.
exactly. Like when I asked
Potter looks up.
Janus if you wanted to have steak.
Mr.
And-
Accountant, sir, are you suggesting something?
I kind of make a point of pulling out this I say pulling out, kind of revealing this wrapped satchel with all the butcher's paper around it.
Well, I thought we have made excellent progress, and even more so this day. I'm going to let these steaks sit for a little while, but if perhaps the three of you are free later this week, may wish to come over for dinner, perhaps Thursday.
Sounds good to me. We're yeah, seems reasonable. Assuming we're, all fine. And things don't spiral out of control like they so often do.
Well, thankfully, Miss Gotter has already agreed to help with the preparations in ensuring the food is entirely edible. So I think perhaps this will go quite well.
Also, I planned to come over Thursday anyway, remember? Or at least that's what you told me. No? Is this not what you meant? Is this not also going into what you meant? Oh?
A wise person once said, if you want something, you should ask for it directly.
That's why I asked. It's up to the other person to whether or not they're going to bloody answer, though.
Yes.
I see.
mm,
That's alright. I'm happy to help. I love cooking. And, Janus, let me show you how to make steak.
Oh, Scoop showed me.
Let
Yeah.
me show you how to make steak.
Okay.
Then frying over on a rooftop way. Because usually you're not on a rooftop frying.
I mean,
Didn't
it's
know that really makes
speculation.
Okay. I think we can. With that, we'll end today's session.
I was half expecting that litter to explode.
I'm kind of wishing it had of right now.
Did you forget?
It's been a month, of course I forgot.
I think it's been even longer than that. Like
It has.
when you guys decided.
It's a random day.
Yeah.
I know. That's why it's so funny.
Anyway.
Oh, we are so doomed.
Uh,
This is not good. Oh boy.